All righty. All righty, family. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Let me try to play a little music. I was trying to play some music up in this giant. This bad boy want to play with me. But y'all hold tight. Let me press this right here. We're going to play a little, see what they let me share a little bit. All righty. We're going to do a little like this here.
I was transgressed. You had to clean me up. In my heart to your scriptures, I can't get enough. But your word got me strong, cause it's perfect. Got me walking in your light, it was worth it. I thank you every day until my days is done. I'll praise until the Father and the Son. They the one. I was out there, thought I had it figured out. Leaning on my own understanding, yeah, falling out. Chasing Mr. Benjamin Franklin, going in with the fire rest. Selling death to my people. I'm doing it was wrong, but that money coming lethal. And I got these kids, I ain't worried about the people. No, posted in the spot with the drop. That was me trying to justify my wrongdoings, and I gotta eat. Worshiping the dollar bill, that's all I thought about. Turn the one into two, catch the spells in the drought. But please forgive me, I ain't on no better. I didn't have mercy on your servant, show me better. Please, the way it's going, I'm headed to the pen. I'm dead on the pennant, covered in my sin. No more 5 baby mamas, Lord, I can't win. I lay my worries at your feet, Lord, take me in. Please, you could have killed me in my sins, but you didn't. You had another plan for me, it was written. I was transgressed, you had to clean me up. Open my heart to your scriptures, I can't get enough. But your word got me strong, cause it's perfect. Got me walking in your light, it was worth it. I thank you every day, until my days is done. I'll praise until the Father and the Son, they the one. I was worshiping my neighborhood. Couldn't tell me nothing about 42nd Brentwood. That's what came first, standing on it to the death of hell. Till I started noticing all the death around real. Partners getting locked up 40 years plus, but I'm so deep in idolatry, I keep on banging tough. Hanging out with killers like it's legalized. Like if bullets started flying, they gon' blow some eyes. Yeah, knee deep in it, I have started epidemic. This is a cancer, need to send it to the clinic. Better yet, need to wash it with this word, cause that's the only remedy, no matter what you heard. But please forgive me, I was doing wrong. Had all the women running through my home. Please forgive me, cause my soul is tainted. Repenting for my sins before you take it. My life, you could have killed me in my sins, but you didn't. You had another plan for me, it was written. I was transgressed, you had to clean me up. Open my heart to your scriptures, I can't get enough. But your word got me strong, cause it's perfect. Got me walking in your light, it was worth it. I thank you every day, until my days is done. I'll praise until the Father and the Son, they the one.
Yes, sir.
D-Roll.
Let's hit another one, baby. Where is it? We got another one for you. No, we don't want no blackbirds. Come on now. We ain't trying to listen to no blackbirds. Let me put this bit here. I had it set up, but I was having some technical difficulties early in the game. Y'all understand what I'm saying? How about that?
It's in the blood, it's in the blood, it's in the blood, it's in the blood. Cover your mind, body, and your soul. It's in his name, the opposition fold. It's in the blood, it's in the blood, it's in the blood, it's in the blood. Letting them know the kingdom is the goal. Gotta be clean before you hit the door. It's in the blood, it's in the blood, it's in the blood, it's in the blood. Cover your mind, body, and your soul. It's in his name, the opposition fold. It's in the blood, it's in the blood, it's in the blood, it's in the blood. Letting them know the kingdom is the goal. Gotta be clean before you hit the door. It's in the blood. Pray that he pour it on me like a flood. Used to be filthy playing in the mud. Now I'm connected running with the blood. He made me clean. Natural religion all in my genes. Woke up this life and all what it seems. I see his kingdom all in my dreams. On the mount standing tall with the king. The ways of the world had to let it go. Had to stop posting up at the Texaco. Waving my flag when I ripped the foe. Now the most high who I'm stepping for. Eating my script, yeah, it's good to both. Believe every word, not a skeptical. Got me on point like a decimal. Removing the beam from my retinal. It's only one way to the throne. wrong. It's only one way to atone. He don't want right in your wrongs. Bro, you can't do this alone. Without his blood, you a dead man. I pray he leave his mark on me like a headband. Hey, it's in the blood, it's in the blood, it's in the blood, it's in the blood. Cover your mind, body, and your soul. It's in his name, the opposition fold. It's in the blood, it's in the blood, it's in the blood, it's in the blood. Letting them know the kingdom is the goal. Gotta be clean before you hit the door. It's in the blood, it's in the blood, it's in the blood, it's in the blood. Cover your mind, body, and your soul. It's in his name, the opposition fold. It's in the blood, it's in the blood, it's in the blood, it's in the blood. Letting them know the kingdom is the goal. Gotta be clean before you hit the door. I need his blood like a transfusion, and by his command, the only way this man moving. Hey, I speak his word, make it translucent. Trying to be pure, so at judgment I can stand prudent. I plead his blood against the enemy, going through the script as I'm warring with the enemy. Gotta keep his laws in my memory. The only remedy, assassinate the old man like Kennedy. Gotta endure to the last trumpet is blown. Remain faithful to the one on the throne, cuz without his blood, you a dead man. I pray he leave his mark on me like a headband. Hey, it's in the blood, it's in the blood, it's in the blood, it's in the blood. Cover your mind, body, and your soul. It's in his name, the opposition fold. It's in the blood, it's in the blood, it's in the blood, it's in the blood. Letting them know the kingdom is the goal. Gotta be clean before you hit the door. It's in the blood, it's in the blood, it's in the blood, it's in the blood. Cover your mind, body, and your soul. It's in his name, the opposition fold. It's in the blood, it's in the blood, it's in the blood, it's in the blood. Letting them know the kingdom is the goal. Gotta be clean before you hit the door.
Yes, sir. All praises to the Elohim of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Shalom, family. Peace and blessings for those who are coming in tonight. While we go over this little subject, we're going to do something a little different tonight, family. Yeah, I see the subject title. We're dealing with Jacob and Israel are hid in prison houses. We're going to look at that on the physical and spiritual side. You know, we are the hidden ones. And a lot of us who don't know we are the chosen people, they are hid in prison houses themselves. And it's the prison of their mind. Hallelujah. So we're going to look at it. We're going to just touch on it, on this subject. And we're going to also look at the penal system. What brought it to my mind, brother? Mm-hmm. I work for the school district, and I'm sitting up here watching, you know, the little children. I'm in the middle school, and I'm watching the children, you know, how they operate, how the young men, especially young black men, right, how they move and shake. I actually talk to them, you know, really talk to them just to get in their mind and see what's going on, because I see them sometimes huffing up at teachers, you know. Right. And then, you know, sometimes they be in little groups. This is one little group. I think it's 6 young men. And we got a guy comes in and talk to them. Mm-hmm. But you can see them being disrespectful or whatever. It's just a couple of them. Right. So he's been out. So the Most High put in my spirit, go over there and talk to them young men. Man, they was quiet and they sit up there and listen to everything I had to say to them. Yes. And also another guy, he was in, you know, he was over there talking with him as well. So we're going to look at a few things tonight, family. And if y'all want to get engaged in the conversation, you're more than welcome to. Of course, we're going to kind of dialogue with some of you guys online. Y'all can put your comments in there. If you want to come in, don't be long-winded, but just give us, you know, your perspective. Just give us your thought on this subject matter, okay? Because we're going to show some video. We're going to go through a few scripts. Hopefully we won't be too long tonight, because we both too tired. Brother, we working me. We weren't chilling all day. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, brother, we're going to start this off in Isaiah chapter. Let me share my screen. Let me present. I guess that's the correct way of saying we're going to present. How about that? Yeah, we ain't going to share. We're going to present. And then let me pull. Y'all know how I do it. I like to share it. Boom. I got to keep this over too so I can make sure that it's coming through. And I know I'm coming through because I can hear the other TP, but just in case, I got to keep up with it. All right, we're gonna start this off. This is where I got Jacob and Israel are hid in prison houses, and you know, if you go like on your job or just dealing with your relatives and everybody, hey, they are hid in a prison house too, because they are here captive. I don't care how much information given to them, they can't get out of what they're doing. So they are prisoner, held captive,
Right.
to doing everything contrary to the Most High.
That's right.
And we're gonna look at that. When he called it, when he said, hey, this is what you got to do. If you want to hang out with me, he said, can two walk together unless they agree, right?
That's right.
So how we gonna disagree with him and then thinking he's still walking with us? It don't work like that. So when he turned you over to the captive, which is Satan the devil, we're gonna look at that. That's who you are, held captive, and he gonna constantly keep your eyes hidden from your identity. Because you know, well, we ain't to read. I don't really think because somebody come and take that. You know, you sow that seed in them. Yeah. Then they turn around, they allow somebody come and take that seed out. Then you know, we African man, we have minds. Right. That's what they think. So you be held captive in your own mind, man. That's right. So with that being said, let me make sure that we coming in. I'm presenting. Yep, we presented. And go ahead and read. We'll read Isaiah chapter 42 in its entirety, my brother. When you get it, go ahead and read.
Okay, so Isaiah 42 and verse 1. Behold, my servant, excuse me, whom I uphold, my elect, and whom my soul delighteth. I have put my spirit upon him. He shall bring forth judgment to the Gentiles. He shall not cry, nor lift up, nor cause his voice to be heard in the street. A bruised reed shall he not break, and a smoking flash shall he not quench. He shall bring forth judgment unto truth.
That's right.
He shall not fail, nor be discouraged, till he have set judgment in the earth, and the isles shall wait for his law.
We know we talk about Yeshua HaMashiach.
Yes, sir.
Praying all day long. That's what we talked about. That's what Isaiah writing about. Go ahead and read it.
Verse 5. Thus saith Elohim, Most High, he that created the heavens and stretched them out, he that spread forth the earth and that which cometh out of it, he that giveth breath unto the people upon it, and spirit unto them that walketh therein. I, Yahweh, have called thee in righteousness, and will hold thine hand, and will keep thee, and give thee for a covenant of the people, for a light of the Gentiles.
Now, we supposed to be a light to the Gentiles or other nations, right? That was the original plan. He give us his word, and we go teach all the other nations so they can change their behavior.
That's right.
And it's still in full operation to this day. We still a light to the Gentile nation, these other nations. But there's a whole lot of us are still Gentile in the mindset, our own people. Because when you talk to our people, they swept it down, they Gentile. So you're a light to them as well. The original, you know, I can't say original Gentile because you go back and read in Genesis before he adopted Israel, everybody was Gentile nation.
That's right.
Let's keep it one thing. It was everybody was just a nation. Everybody spoke the same language and everything. But go ahead and read. I ain't gonna get too deep on that, but go ahead.
Verse 7. To open the blind's eyes, to bring out the prisoners from the prison, and them that sit in darkness out of the prison house.
Damn, we talking about some spiritual now.
Yes, sir.
We talking about physical spirit, but that's a spiritual deal. Paul made a comment. We're gonna read that when he had to go before Agrippa. This right here, Paul was quoting that right there, and that was his job. He had to go and bring out the prisoners from the prisons.
Yes, sir.
We are in a spiritual, first of all, we're in a physical and we're in a spiritual prison for some people.
Mm-hmm.
But go ahead and read.
Verse 8.
Mm-hmm.
I am Yahweh. That is my name.
Yes, sir.
And my glory will I not give to another.
That's right.
Neither my praise to graven images.
He said, man, look, I'm not going to give my glory to no man.
Mm-hmm.
So men, stop trying to take his glory, nor them graven images that you think you blessed and all. You see folk with all this stuff on their car, they blessed in the Lord, they this, that, and the third and love.
Right.
He said, man, I'm not going to give my name to that either.
No, it's people
Not my glory.
There's people out there, if the Most High gave them a spiritual gift, they want to claim it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? They proud, don't get me wrong, if the Most High blessed you with one.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But you could tell when they're speaking to you, even if you had, they trying to put it on themselves. Like,
right, like
they special. Like, you know what I'm saying?
You, that's your thought.
Right.
Man, get out. Boy, I'm about to say something. Go ahead and read.
Verse 9.
Uh-huh.
Behold, the former things are come to pass,
Mm-hmm.
and new things do I declare. Before they spring forth, I tell you of them.
Now, we're going to deal with some of this on Most High Willing at the 1 p.m. Shabbat class, okay? But go ahead and read, brother.
Verse 10.
Right.
Sing unto Yahweh a new song.
Yes, sir.
And his praise from the end of the earth. Ye that go down to the sea, and all that is therein,
Mm-hmm.
the isles and the inhabitants thereof.
He said that ye go down to the sea. This sea ain't nothing but the people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, go ahead and read, brother.
Verse 11.
Mm-hmm.
Let the wilderness and the cities thereof lift up their voice. The villages of Kedar doth inhabit. Let the inhabitants of the rock sing. Let them shout from the top of the mountains.
Mm-hmm.
Let them give glory unto Yahweh and declare his praise in the islands. Yahweh shall go forth as a mighty man. He shall stir up jealousy like a man of war.
Mm-hmm.
He shall cry, yea, roar. He shall prevail against his enemies.
Amen. And that's who we supposed to be on one accord with.
Mm-hmm.
But check this out. Blindness of the people. Go ahead and read, my brother.
Verse 14.
Yes, sir.
I have long time holding my peace. I have been still and refrained myself. Now will I cry like a travailing woman.
Mm-hmm.
I will destroy and devour at once.
Ooh, well, we don't know. Now, you really want to deal with this cat right here?
Hey, he said, how the hell my peace?
That sound like, you know how it goes, you know, we got to be long suffering and patient. Sound like patience is coming to an end, ain't it?
Oh, yeah. When he get up off that seat.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
He said, I have been still and refrained myself. Now we will I cry.
Mm-hmm.
He had enough of Israel.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead and read.
Verse 15.
Mm-hmm.
I will make waste mountains and hills and dry up all their herbs. And I will make the rivers islands. And I will dry up the pools.
Mm-hmm.
And I will bring the blind by a way that they knew not. I will lead them in paths that they have not known.
Now, we got to stop giving the heathens credit on the Atlantic trade slave, the Arab. They ain't came up with nothing.
That's right. They played their role.
They wasn't smart enough to come up with something like this.
Right.
This was too big for a man could think of to
That's
do.
right.
They couldn't even pull this off if they tried, right? You know,
right.
They can't.
That's right.
This thing here is way, see, that's the wisdom of man got a certain level, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when you got the wisdom of the Most High, you can pull something off
yeah.
like this. But go ahead and read.
In I guess the middle of 16.
Yes, sir.
I will make darkness light before them,
Mm-hmm.
and the crooked things straight. These things will I do unto them, and not forsake them.
That's right.
They shall be turned back. They shall be greatly ashamed that trust in graven images, that say to the molten images, ye are our God.
Now, like I said, we're gonna deal some more on that deal because when Israel was in when the Assyrians came and took them out, ever since then, well, really before then, Israel always wanted to fool with other nations and their gods.
Yes, sir.
They didn't want, our people do not want to be disciplined. They do not like the word of Yah. Even people showed up on Shabbat day who call themselves Israelite.
That's right. What they tell them? He's like, hey, listen, put a king over us.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They want a man over.
They want to be like the other nations.
That's right.
Instead of you being obedient to the word as you read it, you still got a lot of people still got a problem with it. It is what it is.
Yeah.
It is what it is. But go ahead and read. Because like I said, do you have any graven images that you still holding on to? But go ahead.
Verse 18.
Yes, sir.
Hear ye deaf, and look ye blind, that ye may see. Who is blind but my servant, or deaf as my messenger that I sent? Who is blind as that is perfect, he that is perfect, and blind as Yahweh's servant?
Hey, he asked a question. Who's the blind one on the earth?
That's right.
He said, my servant. But go ahead and read.
Verse 20. Seeing many things, but thou observest not. Opening the ears, but he heareth not. Yahweh is well pleased for his righteousness' sake. He will magnify the law and make it honorable.
That's right.
But this is a people robbed and spoiled. They are all of them snared in holes, and they are hid in prison houses.
Now, he said they are snared in holes. When you snared in a hole, it's hard as hell to come out of it.
That's right. You gotta get out the net and the hole.
That's when you snared in a hole. It's like Joe said, man, I'm in a hole, man. I just don't know how. People got a situation, they pray all day and nothing happens. We're gonna read about that too. He said they are hid in prison houses. What it is, not only a physical house, you would hid in a spiritual prison house.
Yes, sir.
This country we are in is a prison house. Your mind is a prison house.
Yes, sir.
What is a prison? Let's look at it. Let's look at it. I know a lot of folks don't like the Strongs, but we're going to look at it anyway. Imprisonment, confinement, restraints. Confinement. To be in one little spot somewhere, ain't it right?
That's it.
And you ain't moving out that spot.
They call it aggravated seg in prison.
Aggravated what, brother?
Seg, segregation.
There you have it. Go ahead and read.
I forgot where I was.
For they, that's middle of 24.
24.
For they would not walk.
Okay.
Hold on a minute. No. They're 22.
22, yeah.
Yes, sir.
They are for a prey, and none delivereth, none. For a spoil, and none saith, restore.
Man, look. And they are for a prey. Everybody after us. All these nations do not like us. I'm not saying that all the people of these nations.
That's right.
It's a handful of people that the Most High gonna use because Scripture must be fulfilled. We got to bring up somebody. Got to be our handmaids and servants.
That's right.
And he gonna have those who gonna be obedient to his word. Gonna be handmaids and servants. But the vast majority of these people in these nations, where the four corners we scatter, they don't like us.
And honestly, if they could, they put you back in shackles right now.
If they could, but they're not smart enough to. They can't pull it out. Why? Because the Most High hand not in it.
That's right.
If the Most High hand was in it, then we'll be in our people be in trouble. We'll be in trouble too.
Oh no!
Because they'll be trying to cut. First of all, they're gonna try to come after us. Because last time we read, Satan was cast down to the earth and went to make war with the remnant of the woman, right? Who hold the testimony.
That's right.
And keep his commandments.
That's right.
We're gonna be the first one they coming after.
Yeah.
Because why?
Got to shut us up.
Got to shut us up, and then we got to do the work that we're gonna read about what Paul did over there in Acts. And he said that none delivered for a spoil and said restore. You ain't getting no reparations, so stop all the damn whining. Then it ain't gonna happen.
I don't want it no way.
The rest of the reparations we gonna get when Messiah come through that crowd with the saints in heaven, and then he gets the saints on earth. Then everybody got to unask the goods.
Yes,
that's the rest of it. If you want part of that, you ain't gonna get no
check.
You ain't get no check. You might get a little stimulus check that you won't go give back to them. But other than that, you're not gonna get the real check. You're not gonna get the everlasting check.
Now, them 30 acres and the mule gone.
They can have that. We want back over there.
Yes, sir.
Because over here is a hellhole. This is a hellhole prison we in. But our prison ain't too bad like other prisons. You go visit these other countries.
Oh yeah.
Them other country prison houses are terrible. It's terrible.
They still busting bricks and stone over there.
So we got just a little comfort in this prison house we in. Okay? Go ahead and read, brother.
Verse 23.
Mm-hmm.
Who among you will give ear to this?
Mm-hmm.
Who will hearken and fear for the time to come?
Yes, sir.
Who gave Jacob for a spoil
Mm-hmm.
and Israel to the robbers?
Mm-hmm.
Did not Yahweh?
No, the heathen did it. The heathen. Stop giving the heathens too much credit, because I said it earlier, they're not that smart to pull this off.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're mad at somebody for doing what they're doing, you mad at the Most High and His Son, because they don't want to pull this off
and control all of it.
Go ahead and read, brother.
He against whom we have sinned, for they would not walk in his ways, neither were they obedient unto his law. Therefore he hath poured upon him the fury of his anger and the strength of battle.
Right.
And he hath set him on fire round about.
Yes, sir.
Yet he knew not, and it burned him, yet he laid it not to heart.
Man, think about it.
Consider it.
Man, Joker, man, stop you having mixed stuff, man, people all day long. The Joker just don't sit around and just think like, damn.
You're wild, mate. What's going on?
Why am I keep going through all of this?
Mm-hmm.
You need to keep the law, statute, commandment. It's been done away with. And then it goes back through their same old stuff.
Nail that to the cross.
Talking all crazy because they hid in a prison house. Their mind is in prison.
Yep.
And then they go and some more drama come up on them. The same ones come back to ask you, well, I just don't know why I'm going through all that. And then you're going to tell them again. Why don't you change and start keeping your law, statutes, commandments, whatever? I ain't nobody going to do all that. I'm so tired of you reading that book. I'm going to unsubscribe, y'all. I don't like him anyway. I'm telling you, that's what we deal with.
Yeah.
That's what y'all deal with. But they don't even consider, because they hid in prison house. And you know, Satan, the devil, the one got them in prison. Yes, they love being in prison. Because as soon as they pray, and then, hey, the Most High might show a little mercy and test them. Then as soon as they get a little relief, they back millisecond back to doing what they doing. Happens all the time. Oh yeah. Let's go now to Deuteronomy. Now let's get into we're gonna do a little work, and then we got a lot of excerpts we want to show y'all. I'll read to you. We're going to Deuteronomy chapter 28. We got to hit a little of this. Deuteronomy 28. This is a lesson. This is a friendly reminder lesson of reality that's going on, and we got to stop blaming these other nations. Yeah, he turned us over to these nations, and the ones in these nations doing all this wickedness to us, they doing their job. We can read that to you. That's right. But can we say that all the folks, the heathens in this nation, are wicked? No, we can't say it. That's right. Now this Messiah make it good on this promise. And we're going to read some of this. If you don't keep the law, statute, commandment, and hearken unto him, this was going to happen to us, right? We're going to read 25, and then we're going to skip that. We just touch on a few of them, and then we're going to move on. Go ahead and read, brother.
So Deuteronomy 28 and 25.
Yes, sir.
Yahweh shall cause thee to be smitten before thine enemies. Thou shalt go out one way against them and flee 7 ways before them, and shall be removed into all the kingdoms of the earth.
Now, I need to know, them other people that walks around with the little black hats on, when was they removed into all the kingdoms of the earth?
That's right.
We on the blessing side. Well, we're going to show you that Messiah made good on his promise, because it came out of his mouth when we go read in the so-called New Testament. Okay? Skip down, brother, and we're going to read 41 through 48, and we're going to pause for a hot second.
Chapter that.
41, what did it say?
Verse 41. Thou shalt beget sons and daughters, but thou shalt not enjoy them.
Why?
For they shall go into captivity.
He said, man, we had, the children who sold for being disobedient. Hey, man, you got a lot of jokers having children now. And guess what? What they call it? Department of Human Service or whatever they got.
Child Protective Service.
Yeah, they come and take your children. Guess what? They over there with the heathens.
You sure right here, bro.
It's still going on. There ain't nothing changed. This right here is still going on as we speak. Every time I look up, you got heathens bringing little black children to school, daycare and all that kind of stuff. Because they pre-K school too. Right. But the point is, where did this baby come from? I know y'all two didn't have.
Yep, them curses ain't going anywhere.
They ain't going nowhere. All praise to the Most High. He's having mercy on us because he promised us over there in Exodus chapter 20. He said he's going to show mercy upon thousands of them who love him and keep his commandments. Read that to your folk. Every time they keep going through what they're going through, read that to them and then see what they say. If they still mumble mouth and whatever, close the book and keep it moving. Don't cast your pearls to the swine. And ain't just talking about so-called white folk. They're talking about these rebellious Negroes, stiff-necked, and what we're reading about right here. Go ahead and read, brother.
Verse 42.
Yes, sir.
All thy trees and fruit of thy land shall the locusts consume. The strangers that is within thee shall go up above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low.
But that's cold. In your own land. Yep.
Yes, sir.
Wherever you go, they're going to be above. That's why you see the Hispanics coming up from Guatemala or all them places down there. They coming up, and here it is a year later. They even got houses paid for, own business and everything. And guess what? Most of our people are running around groping in the noonday. But go ahead and read.
Verse 44.
Yes, sir.
He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail.
That's right.
Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee, and overtake thee, till thou be destroyed.
Hey, man, you talking about the curses going to pursue you? They're going to be right on your ass.
Yes, sir.
You a transgressor of the law. Now you got the servants trying to tell you, hey, man, we can get out of this prison. But you back there want to transgress, and guess what? Them curses on your ass. Yes, sir.
You be like, what we got out there better than what we got here?
Yeah. And you see a folk, man, some of the folks just look terrible and miserable.
Yes, sir.
Go read Go read book, chapter, and verse. Give it to them. We feeding you. I'll feed you through the prison cell. Eat this right here so you can get out of that. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Because we're going to show you where the angel came and opened the prison up. So the sure ones got to let you out of prison.
Yes, sir.
Like he did Paul and Silas and all them when they was down up there in Asia. Yeah. He had to open. So in other words, he got to pull that scale from your eyes so you can see out of that prison cell you in your mind. But go ahead and read, brother.
The middle of 45.
Go ahead.
Because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of Yahweh thy Elohim, to keep his commandments and his statutes which he commanded thee. And they shall be upon thee for a sign and a wonder, and upon thy seed forever.
So now you know who the people are.
Yes, sir.
If you are free and you're not held in prison, but go ahead.
Verse 47. Because thou servest not Yahweh thy Elohim with joyfulness and with gladness of heart for the abundance of all things. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which Yahweh shall send against thee in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee.
He said until he, who is this he?
The Most High.
The Most High, he gonna make that heathen destroy you. Hold a spot right here. Let's go into Hosea. Y'all hold your spot right here. Look how he gonna destroy you. Let's go to Hosea chapter 4. Hosea chapter 4. And we're gonna read 2 verses. 1 and 6. I just want you to read that 1 and then drop down at 6.
Okay. So Hosea 4 and 1. Hear the word of Yahweh, ye children of Israel, for the Yahweh hath a controversy with the inhabitants of the land, because there is no truth, nor mercy, nor knowledge of Elohim in the land.
I wonder how they end up happening.
I was reading that the other day.
How did they end up happening? Because these jokers stopped. They didn't want to continue in the law of, that he gave Moses. they want to go and be like the other nations. The priests, the priests.
Oh yeah.
So they can start looking at these women and stuff. The men were the priests. They didn't want supposed to be pushing this thing. Drop down to 6 and what did it say?
Verse 6.
Yeah.
My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, because thou hast rejected knowledge. I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me, seeing that thou hast forgotten the law of Elohim. I will also forget thy children.
That's how they going to destroy you, because you don't want the knowledge of the Most High, because he said that man's wisdom is foolishness unto him. That's the wisdom you want, but you don't want the wisdom or the knowledge of the Most High.
That's right.
So how is that he's going to destroy you? By educating you what they follow.
Yes, sir.
Example. I'm walking down the hall, middle school. And I stopped by one of the history teachers. I listen to what they teaching in there. The same old foolishness that they taught us. Nothing changed. I could man, he was in there asking a question. I could have asked every last one of them questions, because that's the mess they taught us. Number 2, what the hell did these so-called their forefathers got to do with us? Nothing. But we brag and boast about your academics and all this stuff that you learned in school. All they did was gave you man wisdom, was it foolish to them, because you don't want the knowledge of the Most High. Now we are destroying people, because now a lot of us thinking just we got their education and all that stuff, that we are like them.
Americans, proud Americans.
Oh, brother, you act like you talking down about it. Hell yeah, I'm talking down about it, because you got to operate in this system. But you trusted man's knowledge and wisdom instead of the Most High. That's how you destroy. Now you think you're a Gentile going worship on Caesar Sunday morning, and then you think you one of them.
Yes, sir.
Why? Because they blinded you from the knowledge of the truth. See, you don't want the knowledge of the Most High. I'm gonna let the heathen educate you. And they're gonna tell you what they want you to know. Yes, and they want you to repeat after me. That's what they want. So in these nations, the only way you can get along with them is go to their God and act like them. But you still are below them. Get along with me and we'll be fine. You go and try to keep some law, statutes, commandments, and all this and that. I don't want everything. I'd let better heathen tell you that. And I ain't talking about all of them. I'm talking about the ones that know this, don't know who we are as a people. And they got a job to do.
Hey, you already know, Hebrew. Hey, either you're going to join in them, or guess what they're going to do? They're going to try to kill you. The ones who separated, they don't want no part of that.
They don't want any part of it, man. So that's how, let's go back and read that again. Let's go back to Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter. He said, he's going to put that yoke upon your neck until thou be destroyed. And he said, you will destroy for the lack of knowledge, God. You reject knowledge.
You know who you are. And you a black man.
So you can sit over there and foam in the mouth and boo-hoo and cry all you want to. You can pray to the molded images and all that stuff. Ain't nothing gonna happen. At the end of the day, you're gonna be praying and crying to the Most High, and He's gonna send a servant to him and read these scripts to you, and you're gonna constantly kick. I ain't talking about you folks on the feed. Not talking about y'all people. I'm just saying that I'm saying this in case somebody get a hold to this video. And they go back and be wondering, like, what in the world why I'm going through what I'm going to. Most I might send to the video and say, hey. So family in the chat, don't think I'm talking about y'all. I might be talking about some of y'all family members or something. And he was mine, you know, but it is what it is. Because we was there at one time, remember?
Yes, sir.
So I have compassion on the folks. I really do. But if they gonna come to me, I'm speaking for myself. I'm giving the book, chapter, and verse. And after that, I don't have any confident words to you. We have confident words because we got the word of Yah.
That's right.
That's all they could get from me. Let's go back. We're gonna pick it up at we're gonna read 50 and 51, and then we're gonna drop down to 64. What verse 50 say?
Okay, so verse 50.
Mm-hmm.
A nation of fierce countenance,
Mm-hmm.
which shall not regard the person of the old,
Mm-hmm.
nor show favor to the young.
Man, these folks don't care.
Mm.
These folks, you talking about them good old Caesar Sunday morning people? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Don't you know the vast majority of sun worshipers don't take this Bible to their so-called what they call it, high place?
Mm-hmm.
Like the little church over there that rent the school. Man, I ain't seen them folks with not one Bible. It's maybe one person, the old lady. She probably, and she the only one in there with her Bible. We're coming through the door. I sit up there and watch them every Sunday, and they don't come in there with a Bible. And this is a heathen, this is a mixed church. We know heathen running. Gave a card to sister, whatever, say, hey, check out video, check everything out and everything. You rather, I don't know if the sister came on here or not. I can't call her sister. I don't know if the woman came on here or not. But it was in my spirit, moved me to go and give her that card. And I'm sitting up here watching them little boys with her going into this whorehouse without the word of Yah.
Yes, sir.
I had to say something. But go ahead and read.
Verse 51. And he shall eat the fruit of thy cattle and the fruit of thy land until thou be destroyed, which also shall not leave thee either corn, wine, or oil, or increase of thy kind, or flocks of thy sheep, until he have destroyed thee.
See, that was your blessing right there. All your cattle, your land, and all that. That's what we have. It wasn't about money with us. Right. That was your riches right there. You need to cut your riches out. Since you don't want to do what I say, he totally did our forefather. Got rid of all of their stuff.
We in want of all things.
You in want of all things. Skip down now to verse 64. And we're going to read 64 through 66. And then we're going to go into the book of Leviticus. Okay. Go ahead and read, my brother.
So verse 64.
Yes, sir.
And Yahweh shall scatter thee among all people, from the one end of the earth even unto the other. And there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. He said, man, you're going to be serving other gods. So there's a lot of gods out there. Even wood and stone. Yes, he even threw them two in there. So there's a lot of gods we're going to deal with and show you what Israel was into back then until this so-called 2023 real time. Still caught up in it. Go ahead and read, brother. Verse 65. And among these nations shall thou find no ease. You're going to find no ease. Go ahead, brother. Neither shall the soles of thy foot have rest, but Yahweh shall give thee there a trembling heart and a failing of eyes and sorrow of mind. Man, is that not our people? Yes, sir. Man, look, even the so-called people who've been in the education system or even have professional jobs, you know this hitting them? I hear it every day. I'm so sick of this job. Hey, one young sister was in there, boy, she was fired up. I thought she was walking to her car quitting. Ain't going nowhere. You probably went out there and tooted on one of them old vapes or something and came back in and shut up the butt up and go back and teach them heathens and them rebellion Negroes, them curriculums. Right. You understand what I'm saying? This going to hit everybody who going to kick against the Most High. Go ahead and read. Verse 66. Yes, sir. And thy life shall hang in doubt before thee, and thou shalt fear day and night, and shall have none assurance of thy life. And we see that as today. Let's go to Leviticus chapter 26. I'll never give these heathen that much credit. The only credit they get from me is carrying out the task. To come up with this, no, sir. Leviticus chapter 26, we read in verses 13 through 19. 13 through 19. When you get it, brother, go ahead. Okay, Leviticus 26 and verse 13. Yes, sir. I am Yahweh, your Elohim, which brought you forth out of the land of Egypt, that ye should not be their bondsmen. And I have broken the bands of your yoke and made you go upright. But if you will not hearken unto me and will not do all these commandments, and if ye shall despise my statutes, or if your soul abhor my judgments, so that ye will not do all my commandments, but that ye break my covenant, I will also will do this unto you. I will even appoint over you terror, consumption, and burning ague, that shall consume the eyes and cause sorrow of heart. And ye shall sow your seed in vain, for your enemies shall eat it.
Now listen to what he said in these scripts. He said that you, verse 15, so that ye will not do all my commandments, but that ye break my covenant. This up on the law of Moses.
Yes, sir.
Because he didn't play that mess. When you broke one, you offended all of them. You offended one, you offended all.
That's right.
That's up on the law of Moses. We're going to deal with, like I said, some of that, because Messiah had to come to give Israel, but you still had to fall up under this right here. Don't think that the commandments and the covenant has been done away with.
If the covenant done away with, but what we working for to come under that covenant, that's part of our reward.
Right, but see, they always supposed to have put it in their minds, but Israel hard-headed stick left, they didn't want to put it in minds, so he even had them make fringes and all this other stuff. Write it on your doorpost, write it on your wall, whatever.
Right.
They ain't work. Now what he had to do, we're gonna deal with tomorrow. Because you got to possess something in order for this day to be in your mind. And when you get that water baptism, he put that ruach on you.
Sir.
And that ruach, now you're gonna be spitting on commandments. And I ain't got to teach you the 10, because you should know if the spirit is on you, if you're screwing up or not.
Yes, sir.
It's gonna tell you.
Oh, it's gonna definitely tell you. Don't say that.
If the spirit
Don't
on you,
do that. Yeah.
you might not have the spirit when you're saying and doing things. Just keeping the 1,000. Go ahead and read, brother. What verse?
17.
Yes, sir.
And I will set my face against you, and ye shall be slain before your enemies. They that hate you shall reign over you, and ye shall flee when none pursue you. And if you will not yet for all this hearken unto me, then I will punish you 7 times more for your sin.
Oh, no wonder you can't get away with it. Joker be calling themselves going to go and kill somebody, take them over in another state or whatever. Guess what? Did that happen here? Killed the boy and took him to another state, and guess what? They sit up on the news, all 4 of them looking stupid. You know, you can tell the one that got an unclean spirit, and then the one that, damn, we got caught. They can't even look at the camera.
Right.
Man, I don't care. He said, man, I'm going to punish you 7 times more. You wonder why our children get caught up in the correctional system.
Yes,
and now you can't do what little Billy little Missy do.
That's right.
You can't do it. I still see that today. Okay, keep on.
We used to ask that question growing up.
Man, why the hell was getting away with stuff?
Same thing, but he got 20 years. That boy ain't even get probation, you know?
I write a note. I'm gonna bust your head to the white meat after school. Oh, you threaten you gonna kill somebody. But Billy bring the damn knife and the damn gun in there. He go over to damn get evaluated, and you want to take me to jail.
Yes, sir.
Cause you feel threatened by the little letter I read, but you didn't feel threatened by Billy with the damn butcher knife. Go ahead and read that. He said, man, I'm gonna punish you 7 times more. Our people really need to get that in their spirit.
Yes, sir.
But guess what? Them lying preachers, you know, like he said, man, there was no knowledge in the land. Because you got Negroes like that still today ain't teaching the folk law, just reading this book.
That's right, bro.
Go ahead and read. What verse?
19.
Go ahead.
And I will break the pride of your power, and I will make your heaven as iron and your earth as brass. So
you got iron above you and brass below you. Ain't nothing going nowhere.
That's right.
So when you see these people praying and snot and all this, they've been praying for peace. There is no peace. The peacekeeper haven't come out of heaven with the saints, and we haven't met him in the air, so we can take down all wickedness. There won't be any peace. But you could be peace within your own assembly. He give us peace.
Yes, sir.
Because we try to keep the law, statute, command. We try to trust in Yeshua HaMashiach, aka Jesus Christ. That's why we find our peace. There is no other peace. But if we got that spirit and we all walk on one accord in the spirit, that's where the peace come in with one another. But for us, the world, ain't no peace.
Ain't no impeached for it.
Now he said he gonna punish us 7 times more for our sin. Why you gonna punish us 7 times more for our sin? What about the heathen? Let's go to Amos chapter 3. Man, he ain't thinking about them heathens.
No.
Not on when they come down to the call. He gave his word to one people.
That's right.
And if he had to deal with, like he told Moses, step back, Moses, I'm finna kill all of them. I'm gonna just start over with you. That's some serious business, ain't it?
Yes, sir.
Amos.
That's another lesson, but you can imagine how much respect he had for him, that he was that intercessor standing between them. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He told him step aside. Like, you know what I'm saying?
But see, he was Moses was on the other side of that veil with him.
Yeah.
Hey, y'all was on that.
Tell me that the Most High couldn't just pick them off one at a time. He could have if he chose.
Oh, he was doing it.
He had the intercessor right there with him. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Look here, all the tribes are guilty. Now we're gonna read verses 1 through 3. This is the main reason why your brother Amnon ain't trying to do nothing. I tried when we came in this walk, try to still do the little worldly thing and all that. Both have whooped my ass. I'm just gonna keep it real with y'all.
Yes,
I know y'all don't like that A word, but I'm just keeping it real.
Mm-hmm.
So for those who coming in this walk and still try to do,
yeah, please.
I see the Most High whoop your butt. Hey man, you better repent before you really whoop your butt. I'm talking about brother or sister.
Really afflict you.
This is the reason why he said I'm gonna punish you 7 times more, and I ain't trying to pull the slick. Go ahead and read, brother.
So Amos chapter 3, verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
Hear this word that Yahweh has spoken against you, O children of Israel, against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, you only have I known of all the families of the earth.
We're talking about all the nations. You're the only one out of all the nations.
Yes, sir.
Have I known? Well, go ahead.
Therefore, I will punish you for all your iniquity.
Every time you transgress, I don't care what these other nations do. You better not do it. Because when you do it, I'm going to punish you for all your iniquity.
But I'm going.
Why can't our people get this? We the Israelites. There's another sign and wonder that we are the people.
Yes, sir.
And we're going to show you some insert. Go ahead and read that.
Verse 3.
Now he's going to ask you a question. This is the Messiah. Just keep it real. This is the Messiah. What's the question?
Can two walk together except they be agreed?
Hey man, can you walk with Hamashiach unless you're in agreement with him?
You have to be.
Because if you're not walking together, you're walking with somebody.
That other tree
that's sitting in the midst of the garden, right?
Yes, sir.
Now let's go to Luke chapter 21. We're gonna let Messiah tell you out of his own mouth what's gonna happen to Israel. Let's go to Luke chapter 21. Luke chapter 21, and we're going to pick this bad boy up at verse 20 through 24. Now, what we're reading about here is what happened in 70 AD. Okay. Luke 21, and we're going to pick it up at verse 20.
Okay.
Now, you always got the Sadducees, Pharisees, Herodians, and all of them,
right,
won't ask questions or whatever. But disciples them wanted to know some things too. Because they knew that when the Messiah come, that the world would be turned back over to them. The rulership was gonna be turned back over to them. And they was kind of wondering, okay, is it, because they asked the question, you're gonna turn it over back, Jerusalem back over to the people.
They think he's finna come take over.
Sit there, yeah. Like he told, was that Herod? Hey man.
You mean
when he told, look, man, well, yeah, look,
yeah.
If there was my kingdom, my servants would fight.
Right.
They won't let nothing go down with me. When they get ready to go through this little crucifixion, he said, when he comes, my servant's gonna fight.
Yes, sir.
So, like my brother did the video, the song, he ain't come back kissing and hugging people.
That's right.
So, put that in your mind. Go ahead and read 20 through 24. What did it say?
So verse 20.
Mm-hmm.
And when ye shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is nigh.
Mm-hmm.
Then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains, and let them which are in the midst of it depart out, and let not them that are in the countries enter thereinto.
Now, we can show you in another lesson. In 78, but prior to 7 AD, the reason why those Israelites was caught in Jerusalem, because they had preachers. We can read that in the writings of Josephus.
Yes,
they had
sir.
preachers telling them they had to go in there and keep the feast days. But Messiah just told his disciple, when you see all this stuff going on,
right,
don't go in there, and tell the folks don't go in there to get out.
Right.
So when you listen to false preachers or false prophets, they tell you opposite. That's what happened to you. And you go read that in the writings of Josephus. But go ahead and read. That's why they got caught in Jerusalem. But you know what? They had to be caught.
Right.
You know why they had to be caught? Because a lot of them were Pharisees and stuff anyway. It'll pay back for them.
Right.
But go ahead and read.
That's prophecy. So
that's prophecy, man. They had to be there.
Yeah.
It's just like when he said that many, we talking about false teachers and false prophets, right? And he said that many gonna follow their pernicious ways or their destructive ways. It has to be fulfilled. That's why you got these people in these whorehouse churches.
yes, sir.
But go ahead, brother.
Verse 22.
Uh-huh.
For these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled.
Yep, he said it will pay back for him. He had to he wasn't gonna let them slide for all the stuff they did to the Messiah and the disciples.
Yes, sir.
No. Go ahead and read.
Verse 23.
But
woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days. For there shall be great distress in the land, and wrath upon this people.
But who is this people? All nations or Israel? When he talk about this people, he only talk about one family that y'all know. But go ahead. And this red letter to family, but what Messiah said right there in verse 24.
And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations. And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled.
Oh, they're going to be led away captive into all nations. So you could see led away captive metaphor to capture one mind. Captivate.
Yes,
so you hear captive not only in a physical house, but a spiritual house as well. In your mind.
Still pledging allegiance.
Still pledge your allegiance to these heathens. You brag and boast about how you serve their military and all this, that, and the third. But these folks still don't give a damn about you. We read it. And we're not teaching, hey, we teaching book, we teaching history, we teaching you 1,000.
That's straight out the book, brother.
Now, let's go now and look at something. Let's go into Zechariah chapter 12. We're going to read 1 through 3, and then we're going to get into some of these inserts. Messiah told you, we just read, told us that Israel will be led away captive into all nations. So show me where the so-called Jewish people were led away captive into all nations. We're going to read verses 1 through 3. Go ahead and read, brother.
Zechariah 12, verse 1.
Now, he said they're going to be led away captive to all the nations. This is what Israel going to be a problem when they go into all these nations. We about to read it right here out of the mouth of Zechariah, right? It said, go ahead and read.
So verse 1. The burden of the word of Yahweh for Israel, said Yahweh.
For who?
For Israel.
Go ahead and read.
Which stretches forth the heavens and laid the foundations of the earth and formeth the spirit of man within him.
Yes, sir.
Behold, I will make Jerusalem a cup of trembling unto all the people round about, when they shall be in the siege both against Judah and against Jerusalem. And in that day Well, I make Jerusalem a burdensome stone for all people. All the burdens themselves with it shall be cut in pieces, though all the people of the earth be gathered together against it.
Oh,
All
so when he said all people, all the nations are anti Yahudim, Yisrael, Yasharal, or whatever you want to call it. These folks, all these folks against us. And guess what? Israel becoming a problem, what's been a problem, and it's getting out of hand with these people, and they getting tired of it. Man, the crime so damn high in these cities, they don't make no damn sense. I mean, it grieves me, brother.
Oh yeah. Ain't no joke, brother.
All these little, even these little small towns, Israel just these Negroes just ain't need prison houses, and they just constantly doing stuff, and they constantly building prison for who?
Israel.
Israel a problem.
Yeah.
Now let's go and look. He said they are hid in prison houses. They in the physical prison houses too. Now let's go and look at something that's was designed and set up by these heathens. But see, the Most High got to check off on this too.
Yes,
because he's getting tired of Israel. And be honest with you, as far as the nation, our people, we just say so-called black community. Out of all the so-called educated people, all the so-called religious people in the so-called black community, and all the people who are pillars in the community, the so-called Negro community is, I want to say a word, but it's jacked the hell up.
Yeah. And getting worse.
And they don't know it. And be honest with you, a lot of them don't even care because a lot of them don't want to live around you.
That's right.
You know why a lot of these preachers don't care? Because you ain't giving them no money. They get less of a damn in the so-called community. And these people coming out of these broken homes, these especially men, some now, and these black young, they lock these young girls up too.
Oh yeah.
These young girls, you seeing more and more young women committing crime with these Negroes.
Violent crime.
Men. Violent crime. They the setup person.
Yeah.
They say they setting them up just like Delilah. They setting you up.
Right.
But anyway,
get you to the room, get you robbed and killed.
Get you robbed and killed. Let's go into the pipeline. Breaking the school to prison pipeline for black boys. Now, how you gonna call yourself trying to break the pipeline when he said in the scripts it's gonna happen? See, that's why I said, man, they're going back on man wisdom. Okay, we can control this thing. But when y'all gonna tell them to start keeping law, statute, commandment, it ain't gonna stop.
That's right.
You can write articles and all this stuff. And you know what? When you go in here try to talk to these young men, that's why I'm real careful about what I say to the young men. I just tell them to go check the article out. Because I could probably lose my job. The parents are acting fool. They'll say this, that, and all that. And this against school. So I'm being stupid. But I'm seeing this stuff and listening to what's going on. Most of y'all, and I ain't, when you start getting into the education system, it's a system set up for this right here.
Yeah.
We're going to let them tell you. We're going to read a few of them on here. Now we're going to get into some articles, boy. See, we got to constantly remind ourselves of this stuff. I'll read this right here. This is a guy named Christopher Evans discussed the window and mirror educational approach to dismantling the school to prison pipeline, which ensure that young black boys feel supported by their teachers. What teachers are there? Hell, these heathen teachers, you might have a few of them,
right,
that actually can.
Right.
But the vast majority of them can't deal with our people because they don't know how we are wired.
That's right.
And they really don't want to deal with your people because, it's just their upbringing. I just don't want to deal with it. Yeah. With support from trusted adults, these young men have become positive ambassadors in their schools. How can a philanthropy support mentorship? Okay, it said read more about other school breaking it. Okay, pipeline, right? Check this out. I clicked on that. I clicked on that today. I was like, huh? They talking about the school system here in Memphis. Laura Faith Kabidi reports that behavior specialists are working with students in schools in Memphis schools to avoid out-of-school suspension and disrupt the school-to-prison pipeline. They have to go in there and do something, but we're going to let them finish telling you. How can funders increase access to behavior specialists in underserving school districts? It says here, I'm just going to read down. Michael Spearman knows firsthand the consequences of harshly punishing students for misbehavior, as opposed to figure out the underlying cause. In addition to his day job as lead behavior specialist for Shelby County Schools, he has spent more than 2 decades as an officer and detective with the Memphis Police Department. If the school system can address a student's behavior, those students are more likely to enter the justice system as teens or adults. This reality for many students, especially students of color, is known as the school-to-prison pipeline. Now that the Memphis school system has been able to add back behavior specialists and other personnel meant to meet students' emotional needs, Spearman says there's hope to disrupt the pipeline. How you gonna get your behavior specialists? You got to move a certain group or ethnic group out and bring your own people in. That's number one, because they don't understand we as a people. Right. Unless they mind kind of like Tiberius when he was with Titus when he went down there in Jerusalem. He knew his background, but he gave less of that because he thought he was like them. Right. You had those like that. This year, behavior specialists will initiate small restorative circle. Thank you. At 15 schools, people connected to the students, for example, a teacher or another school staffer, a pastor. Come on now. Damn. You can leave him out or her out. Because they the one will keep you. You know, they'll give you the doctrine of Balaam, right? Balaam. I'm sorry, Balak. The whole thing is when y'all gonna tell the people, you know what? This what the problem. Y'all they've been doing the same old stuff over and over again, and you come in here with all these behavior specialists, which I work with out every day, and watching them dealing with these folks. Guess what? Nothing changed.
Right. If you got a tree out there dying, you got to get to the root cause of it.
You got to get to the root cause. Too often, advocates say schools skip over alternative out-of-school suspensions, which contribute to students losing motivation to study or open the opportunity to get involved in petty and violent crimes.
Yeah, they just sitting at home.
That's what here in the district here in Memphis, right? Let's go to this right here is the American Civil Liberties Union. It says this is the history for Black children, a pipeline from schoolhouse to jailhouse. Let me blow this up so you people can see it. It says the school to prison pipeline refers to the national trend of criminalizing rather than educating our children, nation's children. The pipeline encompasses the growing use of zero tolerance discipline, school-based arrests, disciplinary alternative schools, and secure detention to marginalize our most at-risk youth and deny them access to education. Under this get tough rubric, Black students are far more likely than white peers to be suspended, expelled, or arrested for the same kind of conduct at school.
Yes, sir.
That's why he gonna punish us 7 times more than these other heathens, because we only one he ever knew. You can't do it with these heathens in their nation. They got their judges, their pastors, they got their, first of all, they got their God. They got all this stuff, their cousins.
Call your uncle, he'll get you out of trouble.
They got a system in place and they stick with it. They tolerate us. I gotta work with you. You know, you little children, you know, you growing up, you know, little babies, you know, you get black from all different nations, you put all them babies together, they'll get to playing. But their mind, once they get out of elementary and start getting to middle school, especially high school, they start thinking a certain way. Check this out. Black students with disabilities are 3 times more likely to receive short-term suspension than their white counterparts, and are more than 4 times as likely to end up in a correctional facility. With a with a disability, the ACLU believes that all children should be educated, not incarcerated, and is working to challenge numerous policies and practices within public school system and the juvenile justice system that contributes to the school to prison pipeline and the disproportionate whatever it is, representation, I couldn't say that, of African American in the criminal justice system.
Hang that up, though.
You can hang that up. See, it's all the same one that fight for the LGBTQ and all them other folks. They might pull it off. I don't know, but not with us. They ain't gonna happen.
It may detour something. I ain't gonna say out the whole, but you know, as like you say, until you come back up under, you know what I'm saying, the covenant, you got some hard times coming to you. Yeah.
We're gonna hit a few more of these and then I'm gonna play a video. It said black boys are a student demographic that has been and continues to be misunderstood in public school classroom. Black boys' learning style and social skills are often misconstrued as problems by educators. Those who have disadvantaged home lives are often accustomed to activity rather than sitting still, and to shout and arguing as a mean of communication. You know, Negro get loud and something.
That scared him though.
In the household, black women, the black husband, black wife, people have to kill each other. All that shouting. Then you got your children sitting up there listening to that mess. And then when they get to school, that's how you communicate. You see how you teach your children that how to communicate, and they sit back looking, why are you going to school acting crazy? Hell, you and mama acting crazy. That's how we talk, ain't it?
Right.
Why you talking to me like that? I'm your daddy. Well, hell, you talking to mama like that.
Right.
Boy, you won't talk to me like that. I'm your mama. But damn, mama, you talk to daddy like that. That's confusion.
Yeah. You sure right.
Made me lose my spot. These do not translate well to the classroom. The result is that black boys do not receive the most effective form of discipline, lessons, and peer interaction opportunities. Many are slipped through the proverbial cracks. But I'm scrapping up tonight. And not learning at their potential levels. The lack of learning leads to high school dropout levels, higher rates of poverty, and ultimately higher incarceration rates. Yes, high school dropouts in all demographic have a higher likelihood of incarceration at some point in their lives. So if you got a group of young men starting in the early age, and by the time the 3rd grade, they already know which path these young men going to go. Even starting with the young women now. Now you got more women in college than you got young black men. Right. But it always been, why is it always an attack on a young black male?
Well, I already know you got to keep that man out the house because if he in the house and he leading his family correct, that's a problem for them. You know what I'm saying? That's why they divided, you know, with the welfare system and Section 8 and all that, you know?
The reason I married, however, one of the main issues is economics. A black boy who drops out of high school, simply does not have the educational background to land a high-paying job. He may wind up trying to make ends meet by engaging in petty crime, you know, like stealing cars, copper, you know, breaking in there, trying to steal your guns and selling that, all that, you know, all that stuff that they doing now. This may include thievery. It may include selling drugs. Increasingly, though black boys are incarcerated for acts that should not have put them in prison, for being in the wrong place at the wrong time, for talking back to an officer, for being suspended for smoking marijuana, smoking that bud. They'll lock you up for smoking bud. And you know the one locking you up smoking, he the one smoking bud. I'm about the heathen, you know, they do drugs.
Yes, sir.
I'm joking, they got to do some drugs now. Let's look at another. I want to get to one with the video. Y'all get the point. Let's see this one. I think this is the one. Yeah, I got to read this one. School to prison pipeline for black children on shocking display in Tennessee. Check this out. Just about every black person in this country has been given or has given the talk, the depressing but necessary message to black children to expect to be treated differently by police.
Yes, sir.
But my home state of Tennessee has provided a great illustration that the mistreatment doesn't stop with the police, but includes an entire system that treats black children as less than. And check this out. It said they were booked with criminal responsibility for conduct of another, a crime that doesn't exist. The story reads, 11 kids were arrested after a video of a 5-year-old and a 6-year-old fighting was uploaded to YouTube. Local authorities, under the guidance of Judge Donna Scott Davenport, had the children ages 8 to 14 locked up for literally nothing. Their alleged crime was not stopping the fight, and they were booked with criminal responsibility for conduct of another, a crime that doesn't exist. So this heifer decided she gonna make up her own. Y'all see who?
Hey,
you know she'll tell you, I'm just doing my job.
Right.
She is doing her job.
Some babies, though, you know.
Some babies. The 5-year-old and 6-year-old who fought only evaded arrest because they were so young. Some of the older children were arrested at school, even though the fight didn't occur there. So they went to school to pick them up. The story of the arrest is shocking enough, but Rutherford County authorities were able to jail some of the children because of a filter system. The head of the detention center implemented. So the detention center implemented this stuff.
Right. That's sad,
man. It's sad as hell. So this is your justice system. And that whole thing is to target our children.
And they do it at school so everybody can see. You know what I'm saying?
Now, listen to this right here. I'm going to play this video.
BK Muscle here, everyone say cheese. Classic bacon and spicy. Plain grilled double on the toasted bun with the caramelized onions. Now I want one. BK, have it your way.
All right, y'all. Don't be trying to run and go get one of them damn things. Come on, Eden. Tell me what.
Joining me to help make sense of it all is Joyce Vance, former U.S. attorney and MSNBC contributor. Joyce, in addition to those credentials, you are also a professor at the University of Alabama School of Law, and you gave a lesson about this very situation. Tell me about what you've learned from this.
This is an important topic that I would put under the rubric of something called the school to prison pipeline. It's the way in many ways that schools have outsourced punishment for minor infractions and school disciplinary actions into the criminal justice system, into the juvenile justice system. And here in Rutherford County, we see an extreme level that really, I think, Allie, just sort of boggles the mind in this case. This notion that a judge with marginal qualifications was able to disregard the law, disregard students' constitutional rights, and essentially run a one-woman disciplinary shop. School districts don't pay $11 million unless they realize something has gone badly wrong. So it's important to me that my law students understand this. And the last thing that I'll say is when you ask students, why do you find higher crime in areas that are majority Black or majority people of color, which is what was happening in these schools, students know the answer. They know that the answer is because that's where people are looking for it. It's not that there's...
That's where the police go to look for it. Y'all hear that? This come out of their mouth. That's why they always lurking around. They come up with all these different organizations, truancy officers, and all that stuff. Why? They want to get you into the school system. And then we got jokes on, well, you know what? We got a lot of young parents now. Y'all talking about y'all want to homeschool y'all children. What y'all gonna do?
More bad behavior or criminal behavior in these areas. It's that we're looking for it, and there are collateral consequences to these students that follow them throughout their lives.
You know, when people watch Ava DuVernay's remarkable documentary, The 13th, you get a sense of this prison pipeline, and to some degree, why it historically has been profitable in the United States. We had a situation in Pennsylvania a few years ago where a judge was sentencing children to long terms, and it ended up they were getting kickbacks from private prisons. In this particular case, Rutherford County profited from its juvenile detention center because it charged neighboring counties $175 a day to jail children. There may not be the whole problem, but there's a weird profit motive that comes into all of this.
Now we understand why they do what they do.
Sir.
Just like you said, you think the heathens gonna get away with this? No, sir. See, here's the thing. It's like going back with dealing with Pharaoh.
Mm-hmm.
I want to lay hands on Pharaoh. But I gotta get Pharaoh to mess with the children of Israel,
right,
so I can lay hands on them.
Right.
That's what the heathens don't understand. They don't know who in the world they playing with, even the hard-headed ones.
Mm-hmm.
Because everybody wasn't, even though they were down in Egypt,
mm-hmm,
even though they were barely kicking, he still want to lay hands on Pharaoh. So you don't think these heathens gonna get their hands laid on, some hand laid on them?
Hey, told Pharaoh for this reason where he was born.
You were born if I can lay hands on you, Pharaoh. So these folks ain't getting away with nothing. So we might well calm down. Yeah, it doesn't hurt, whatever. Mm-hmm. But one thing about it is, just like the brothers did a lesson earlier, we got hope in the resurrection. Yes. So we ain't worried about this. Let me let the heathen finish.
Probably shouldn't be there when we're trying to determine criminal justice and how to deal with criminal matters.
Yeah, for-profit prisons skew all of the goals of the criminal justice system, which should be to make our communities safer, to deter criminal behavior, to rehabilitate people who've strayed off the path. Instead, once you have for-profit prisons introduced, the whole goal is to incarcerate as many people as possible. So at the end of the Obama administration, then Deputy Attorney General Sally Yates actually banned the use of for-profit prisons in the federal prison system. Unfortunately, her orders were countermanded by Attorney General Jeff Sessions soon after he took over. And whenever we see the use of for-profit prisons, again, there's that push to fill the beds without regard to the crimes that are being used. Perhaps that's what drove in Rutherford County this judge's decision that children should be arrested for things that weren't crimes, even with police officers and school district officials questioning that move, because that's what happened in the ProPublica reporting. There were school district officials and even 2 police officers who didn't want to make the arrests.
The Middle Tennessee State University says that Judge Donna Scott Davenport is no longer affiliated with the university. She's an MTSU grad and worked as an adjunct professor there in 2020. Tennessee Governor Bill Lee, in a statement to ProPublica, said, "We are concerned about the recent reports and believe the appropriate judicial authority should issue a full review." Other than those kinds of things, as you have discussed, this is a problem that is much larger. What's fundamentally the solution to this?
Yeah, fundamentally, the solution to this is that school to prison pipeline has to be addressed as part of the larger criminal justice issues the country faces. But that's not a very happy sort of analysis of where we are, because criminal justice reform has been elusive in this country. So in some sense, this notion of asking state judicial ethics organizations to eyeball a situation like this and to impose discipline on a judge, that can speak very loudly. It puts other judges on notice. Civil suits can be effective, and even criminal prosecution where it's appropriate. It's not a stretch to believe that DOJ is taking a look at this situation. You know, they've run a very aggressive docket looking into both police departments and prison systems that are violating the rights of people in this country. DOJ's Civil Rights Division has asked for about a 20.
Why don't you stop saying people and just say what it is? Why you want to group everybody in there now? You see the language these people use?
Yeah.
Why don't you just keep it 1,000, heathen?
Right.
And say that they looking at, trying to, do better by the black folk.
Right.
So-called black folk. She tried to be politically correct.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway.
Budget increase that would give them 60 more prosecutors next year, and that would expand their capacity to do work in these pattern and practice cases. That's something that's long overdue, and it may be the best short-term solution here.
It feels like we need to have another discussion about how we encourage that sort of a solution. I appreciate all of your time and thought that you put into this and the teaching that you've done. Joyce Vance is a former United States attorney in Alabama. She is an MSNBC contributor and, as you have all learned, is a law professor who knows a lot about these issues that we have to contend with. All right, go.
All right. Now, let's go and look at another brother. Let's look at this brother right here. And we're going to play just a few clips. We're gonna probably play about 10 minutes of his clip. Y'all see the YouTube, his YouTube channel right here. He on the Planet African, playing African, whatever he into. But anyway, we're gonna play some of this for you and listen to this brother, because this brother here, he was in the school system and he gonna tell you his story. So let me blow this up so y'all are able to see it. And we're gonna play maybe 10 minutes into this video. Is an hour and 28 minutes long. And we sharing this for education purpose. We do not own the rights to this video. That's a disclaimer. Okay.
For those of you who don't know me, I'm Dr. Umar Johnson. I'm a doctor of clinical psychology. I'm a certified school psychologist. I'm probably the most known African-American school psychologist. I say African-American, not because we are African-American. That's impossible, because you can't be a slave and a slave master all at the same time. Right. Okay, but I say African-American so you understand that geopolitically, I'm talking about us here in America. Okay? So anyway, I'm probably the most known school psychologist, most hated. Okay? All right, folks, and black folks do something. Okay? I'm in private practice in Pennsylvania. I do psychological evaluations for a living. I do mentally gifted testing for a living. I do expert psychological evaluations for the courts. I do expert testimony for lawyers who sue the school districts for violating our children's rights. So I just say all that to say that I've been in this for about 20 years. I've helped standardize some of the most popular tests that you guys use. I've been taught by some of the most popular Eurocentric psychologists there are. And needless to say, I've studied every African-centered psychologist, the greatest of whom is the late great Dr. Amos Wilson, a fellow Garvey psychologist like myself. So I say all that to say that the information that you get from me tonight is 100% accurate. But I don't want you to believe it. I want you to go and do your own research. Okay? Question everything that I say. Go and validate it for yourself. For most of you, it'll be the first and the last time you hear some of the things that come out of my mouth. And your question might be, well, if this is true, why are you the first black psychologist to bring it to us? The answer is simple. Most black psychologists are a part of the system that is exploiting your child. So they're not going to bring this to you. Remember, I work for myself. I'm self-employed. I don't work for the school district. So I can call the shots as I see them because I'm not beholden to anyone for a paycheck. The average black psychologist is. Yes, sir. Okay? It's ridiculous that I'm the first one to make parents know that schools get paid for special ed. It's ridiculous that I'm the first one to make you guys know that the learning disability is a fabrication and ADHD is a straight up lie. That there's other black psychologists who know that. But again, they're aligned with the power structure, and I'm not. Now let's go ahead and get into this presentation right here. Okay? There's a war against black boys in the United States of America. Not just in the United States of America. That war is in London. It is all throughout Europe. And of course, I'll be in London next week. And then, I'll be in London the second week of December. And then I go over to the Netherlands, Amsterdam, the second week of December. They're dealing with the miseducation. Down in South America, where I go, they're dealing with miseducation. The Caribbean is dealing with miseducation. Even in Africa, they have special ed and ADHD now in certain parts of Africa. So this is a global war against black boys. 5-6 stages in this war. The first stage is miseducation. Deliberate miseducation of black boys from birth until approximately the 3rd grade. It's on purpose. I need you guys to understand that because I not only speak to you as a school psychologist, I speak to you as a school principal, okay? The miseducation is on purpose. It's not because the schools are poor. It's not because the teachers are uncertified. It's not because the mothers are unmarried. And it's not because the boys' pants are sagging. It is by design that the schools fail. And why must the schools fail by design? Because education is the most revolutionary process in any society. If it is done right, you automatically transform the oppressed. Are you following me?
Yes, sir.
If education is done right, you transform the oppressed into an empowered individual who now has the capability to take authority from his oppressor, if done right. And that's why so much attention is paid to the education of African children, because if the miseducation is not done right, white supremacy risks being exterminated. That's why 93% of the teachers in this country are white female. That is by design. And they will never change that. As long as the handmaiden of white supremacy, the middle class white people, is responsible for the education of the leader of the black revolution, the young black man, there will never be a revolution. So we need to understand first and foremost, education, like psychology, isn't so much about the curriculum, isn't so much about the textbooks. It's about the person who's responsible for being the conduit of the information. And unfortunately, when we talk about education, we spend more time on the curriculum than the person who's responsible for delivering it. Are y'all following me?
Yes, sir.
Now, I'm a therapist as well as an educator. Now, as a therapist, it doesn't matter how good I am at my trade. Let me take that back. It doesn't matter where I graduated from college. I can be a magna summa cum laude Harvard University graduate or Howard. I can have all the degrees and credentials. But if your child is suffering from depression, or if you are suffering from depression, you come to me for therapy. My education don't matter. The only thing that matters is whether or not you feel, as my client, number one, that I give a damn. Number two, comfortable enough to let me into your personal life. And number three, have faith in my ability to help transform you. The degrees stop at the door. Teaching is the same way. A child, through their spidey senses that we call spiritual intuition, can pick up on whether the teacher cares about them or not in the first 30 seconds of class. Are y'all following me?
Yes. That's right.
So when you talk about education, you cannot start with curriculum. You have to start with personnel. Let me give you an example. If I had to choose between two scenarios, one scenario, the perfect curriculum, the worst teachers. Another scenario, the best teachers, the worst curriculum. Guess which one I'm taking? Give me the teachers. Because if the curriculum stinks, it will transform it on their own. It comes down to the personnel. I just quit a principal job up in Pennsylvania about a month ago because I wasn't being allowed to make the decisions that I needed to make to improve education for the children. But one of the biggest challenges that Black principals have is that we're often put in schools where we don't select who works in. Are y'all following me?
That's right.
They give us a school already selected. This is the math teacher. This is the reading coach. This is the counselor. This is the school psychologist. And you're expected to win a war with soldiers you did not choose.
Right.
And that's one of the biggest problems in public education. We got some good Black principals out there, but they're scared to do the right thing. Why? Because everybody knows that the teacher union is like the mafia of education. And if you piss off too many white teachers in the same building, they will sit the union on you. And next thing you know, the good Black principal is being fired or forced to resign because he ain't doing what the teachers do. In education, you'll find it is the only profession in America where the leader, the supervisor, must follow the people they are supervising. So after they deliberately miseducate the Black boy, and everything I speak on is relevant to the girls as well. It's relevant to the ladies as well. Just that it's more aggressive against the young men. I will try to be clear about that. Then they want to special educate. Let's get into that. Special education. What is so special about special education? Absolutely nothing. All right. Special. I'll put SPED. That's the abbreviation. Special education is a federal law. It's from the United States Congress that was passed in 1975. It was called the Individuals with Disabilities Education Improvement Act. Excuse me, that's what it's called now. The original name was the Education for All Handicapped Children Act. Okay, EHCA, Public Law 94-142, United States Congress, 1975. They said any child with a disability had a right to receive a free education at public expense and that they could not be excluded from school. Up until 1975, in certain states, if a child was autistic, mentally retarded, language disabled, blind, deaf, the school would simply tell you, we don't have the services your child needs, keep them home, or better yet, you better find some money and pay for a private school because we don't work with kids with disabilities. Well, guess what? White parents got together and said that is a constitutional violation because the preamble of the nation's premier document says that every person in this country has a right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So if a child with a disability cannot get an education, and we agree that an education is what prepares you for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, to deny them that on the grounds of disability is a constitutional violation. Are y'all following me? And so that's when Congress stepped in and said, you know what, you're right. Denying children with disabilities the right to a free public education is a violation. And that gave special ed its life. Now, there was special ed before 75. Some states already had their own. Are y'all following me? New Jersey already had their own. But there was no national special ed until 75. I'm bringing this up because some of you might say, well, I was in school before 75 and I was in special ed. That's because your state had it. But it was not a federal program until 75. Now, most of you are probably saying, well, what's wrong with that? Giving children with disabilities the right to get an education, what could possibly be wrong with that, Dr. Umar? My answer to you is, nothing is wrong with that in and of itself, except when they created special ed in 75, they didn't do it with the express intent of helping Black children. They did it with the express intent of helping white children. And they did it with the express intent of setting Black children up for failure. Let me explain to you why. 20 years before special ed was 1954, the Brown versus Board of Education decision. In 1954, the Supreme Court said you could no longer use race in education. After that, white school districts still resisted integrating Black children into the schools. That lasted for more than 10 years. 1964, we get the Civil Rights Bill, Dr. King. The Civil Rights Bill reorders the desegregation of schools. Still didn't happen. So in 1954, the Supreme Court said it can't be desegregation, but it stayed. 1964, the Civil Rights Act said there can't be segregation, but it stayed. 1974 comes. Boston against busing. New York City against busing. Philadelphia against busing. Seattle against busing. They started busing black children out to the white suburban schools, and white folks went crazy. Turned over buses, beat up children, threw bottles and water hoses. And this is the same time America's in Vietnam. And they say, wait a minute, we're not looking too good on the international level. We're going around the world telling people to treat their people fair. We can't even let black kids go to school with whites. We got to do something about this because we're looking like hypocrites. So someone said, I got an idea. What if we did this? What if we told America's white racist school districts to accept the black children in? And once you accept them into your school, we're going to legally give you the right to resegregate them once they're on the inside. This way, nobody on the outside know that there's segregation on the inside. All they see is the black kids walk through the same door as the white kids at 8 o'clock in the morning. Are y'all following me? Okay. But they said, wait a minute. If we segregate them inside the school once they get in, there's still going to be complaints about that. So they said, we got an idea for you. What if you said you were separating the black children from the white children because intellectually they can't handle it? What if you were separating the black kids from the white kids because you believe they were retarded? Better yet, they came up with a label in 1963 called the specific learning disability, specifically made for black children. This was the weapon of mass destruction that gave birth to special ed. They said, if you want to keep the black kids separate, you can. But never say it's because it's their color. Say it's because they're learning disabled. The learning disability has been the greatest Jim Crow weapon used against black children. Listen to me, if you hear nothing else I say tonight, the learning disability is an opinion. It is not a fact, and it cannot be proven to exist. Yep. And if you argue otherwise, then you better explain to me what your argument is, because you're talking to an expert in psychology and diagnosis. I evaluate children by the thousands. You cannot prove a learning disability. It is my opinion only. ADHD is my opinion only. Mild mental retardation is my opinion only. The conduct disorder is my opinion only. Oppositional defiant disorder is my opinion only. Emotional disturbance, my opinion only. I want you to understand that special ed is built on a foundation of white school psychologists' opinions. And why do I say that? Because less than 1% of all school psychologists in America are of African ancestry. That means 99% of the people testing your children and putting them in special ed don't look nothing like your child and don't know anything about your child, and in many cases probably can't even stand your child.
That's right.
Say it back, bro. Question number one. What should I do if the school requests permission to evaluate my child? You know what you need to do? The school call you up, Mr. Johnson, I want to test your daughter. Our niece is struggling in mathematics. You can't just test my child. You think she might have a learning disability. Well, first of all, I know you can't even prove that. That's just an opinion that y'all going to make up. I know why my child can't do math. It's because y'all haven't taught her how. Right. That's right. Are y'all following me? They want to test your son for a reading disability. You tell them why your son is struggling. See, I need y'all to take the power of interpretation back from the school. Y'all let the school tell y'all why the child's struggling. You tell the school. No, you can't evaluate my child. Why not? Because I already know the reason. The purpose of an evaluation is to find out something you don't already know. If I already know that my son can't read, it's because y'all didn't teach him. Why would I give permission for that? That's right. When my son was in first grade, his teacher was fresh out of college, couldn't tie her own shoestring. I'm not even sure she could read herself. Second grade, my son was being suspended 5 days every month. How can he learn how to read when y'all never even leave him in a classroom?
Right.
Third grade, my son's teacher went out on maternity leave in September, and my son had to deal with 25 substitutes from September to June. Don't tell me he got a learning disability. Y'all have a teaching disability. You take the power back. You are always the expert on your child. But once you sign that permission form, once you John Hancock that paper, you basically just say, I'm giving the school permission to tell me why my son can't read. You just put his life in their hands. Because once you put that boy or girl in special ed, they are not likely to ever again be able to read, write, or do math on their grade level.
Right.
The average black full-time special ed child is not prepared for the world of work by the time they graduate from high school, because special ed legally miseducates. Why? Because if you have a disability, then the whole definition of a disability is you are disabled to do what your peers can do. So since you are disabled, we're not going to teach you the same reading. We're going to dumb it down. We're not going to give you the same math. We're going to dumb it down. We're not going to give you the same writing. We're going to dumb it down. So here's my question to you, Black Tacoma. If your public school system is already dumbed the hell down, why would you let them dumb your child down even more? Right. You let.
I'm gonna stop it right there, family. Y'all see that? You can watch the whole video in its entirety, okay? Because we got a few more scripts, y'all, and we're gonna get on out of here. I didn't want to share that to you because of the system that's set up.
Right.
We have to educate ourselves on all of this knowledge that's out there for us.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Some people might not agree with this brother. Some people might have their personal about this brother. You know, some things that I listen to him on, you know, I had to go back and look at stuff, you know. I don't get too deep into them, you know.
Right.
But I wish I could show another video, a sister. She was saying the same thing.
Right.
The point we're making is they have a system in place. And if you don't be educated on how to deal with these people,
right, you fall for the okie doke.
Fall for okie doke, and then your child is going down, you failing your child.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we got a few more of the scripture, y'all. We're going to get on out of here. Let's go into, we're going to skip the Exodus. Let's go into Revelation. We're going to go to Revelation, and we're going to hit, we still talk about this prison house deal. Let's go into Revelation chapter 2. We got two more after this. We out. Revelation chapter 2. See, when the Most High, when he say he's gonna put a yoke on until we be destroyed, he said, my people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge because you reject knowledge, because you want their knowledge, you want their education and everything. Right. And this is what they do to us. Yeah. Oh, it get real deep. Check that video out. There's a couple other videos that you can check and compare the information. Since you want to be like in these other nations, this is what these other nations this is how they're gonna treat you. Because he said, when you go in these nations, you're not gonna find no ease in these nations. Don't think you're here to be comfortable. It's not going to be comfortable at all. Now, Revelation chapter 2, and we're gonna read verses 8 through 11. And this is a message to the church at Smyrna. Go ahead and read.
Okay, so verse 8.
Mm-hmm.
And unto the angel of the church of Smyrna write, these things said the first and the last, which was dead and is alive. I know thy works and thy tribulations and poverty, but thou art rich. And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison.
The devil gonna do what?
Cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life.
Oh, so Satan, the devil, always want to throw you in jail somewhere. This whole system is after the working of Satan.
Yes, sir.
Why you think every time they pull up, the first thing they want to do is incarcerate you? They trying to find everything. They even, just like the judge, even made up a law that doesn't exist just to throw you in jail. So you don't think that's Satan too? Go ahead and read, brother.
That was it.
Verse 11.
Okay. He that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit said unto the churches. He that overcometh shall not be hurt of the second death.
Man, because you got to have knowledge to overcome that second death. Let's go look at an event that happened. Let's go to Acts chapter 16. We got one more after this. I tell you what. Let's go look at an example. Let's go and look at Paul and his crew. Let's go to Acts chapter 16. Acts chapter 16. What time? Yeah, we got plenty of time. Acts chapter 16, and we will read verses 14 through 40.
Okay.
It said the first converts in Europe, okay? Now, when you go into these other countries or these other nations or these other cities, we can use that and convert and pull the people out of the heathens' snares or out of the hands of Satan. This was going to happen to you. Because these folks got all their stuff set up. And remember, Israel always wanted to intermingle with these other nations. And they got themselves caught up in the other nations. And they couldn't find their way out of it. But go ahead and read.
So Acts verse 14. And a certain woman named Lydia, a seller of purple of the city of Thyatira, which worshiped Elohim, heard us, whose heart Yahweh opened, that she attended unto the things which were spoken of Paul. And when she was baptized and her household, she besought us, saying, if ye have judged me to be faithful to Yahweh, come into my house and abide there. And she constrained us. And it came to pass, as we went to prayer, a certain damsel possessed with a spirit of divination met us, which brought her master such gain by soothsaying. Now,
this damsel here could be known as an Israelite. Why you say that? We won't go in there because she brought her master much gain by what? Soothsaying. Who all? This whole thing about Israel being in captivity in their mind and everything and being caught up in the snares of the devil, this is the whole thing's about. That's how I know. But go ahead and read.
Verse 17. The same followed Paul and us and cried, saying, these men are the servants of the Most High Elohim, which show to us the way of salvation.
Now he said that this woman kept following them, saying the same stuff over and over and over.
Right, irritating.
Why you keep saying that over and over and over? That started getting a little irritating, like the brother just said, right? So what kind of spirit a person got on them when they doing the same thing? It's down there like mocking. But she had a spirit of divination, right? But go ahead.
Verse 18. And this did she many days. But Paul, being grieved, turned and said unto the spirit, I command thee in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach to come out of her. And he came out that same hour. And when the master saw that the hope of their gains was gone, they caught Paul and Silas and drew them into the marketplace unto the rulers, and brought them to the magistrate, saying, these men, being Jews, do exceedingly trouble our city.
Oh, so they want to throw them in prison now.
Yes,
they took them over to the judge, right?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Verse 21. And teach customs which are not lawful for us to receive, neither to observe, being Romans.
Mm-hmm.
And the multitude rose up against them, and the magistrates rent off their clothes and commanded to beat them.
Unjust judgment.
Mm-hmm. And look how they acting out. You know.
They're taking the cold man clothes off and beating on the stuff. That sounds like a gang of popos, ain't it?
That's how they get down, though.
You gotta remember, the police work for the judge.
Oh, yes, sir.
Y'all remember that. Go ahead and read.
Verse 23.
These unjust judges got these unjust police officers doing ungodly acts.
Even in prison, they got them guards in there.
They got their guards in there.
They come in there, they got a thing what they call flat meeting.
Mm-hmm.
If you get out of line, there'd be about 4 or 5 of them come into your block or your cell or whatever and beat up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. They all they cahoots.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Verse 23.
Mm-hmm.
And when they had laid many stripes upon them, they cast them into prison, charging the jailers to keep them safely. Who, having received such a charge, thrust them into the inner prison and made their feet fast in the stocks.
Mm-hmm.
And at midnight, Paul and Silas prayed and sang praise unto Elohim, and the prisoners heard them. And suddenly there was a great earthquake, so that the foundation of the prison were shaken. And immediately all the doors were open. Everyone's bands were loose.
Now he's sending his spirit upon them
yes,
to loose them out of prison. Y'all see what's going on in here? They start giving praise and everything. Hey, and then they look. It's just like you in darkness. He bring that light to them. You in prison. Only way you can get out of these prisons is the spirit come and move up on you. That's exactly who coming on there and shaking, putting an earthquake in the foundation.
That's right.
That's what's going on here. But go ahead and read.
Verse 27. And the keeper of the prison, awaking out of his sleep and seeing the prison doors open, he drew out his sword and would have killed himself, supposing that the prisoners had been fled. But Paul cried with a loud voice, saying, Do thyself no harm, for we are all here. Then he called for a light and sprang in, and came trembling and fell down before Paul and Silas, and brought them out and said, Sirs, what must I do to be saved? And they said, Believe on Yahweh, on the Most High, Yeshua HaMashiach, and thou shalt be saved and thy house. And they spake unto him the words of the Most High, and to all that were in his house. And he took them the same hour of the night and washed their stripes, and was baptized, he and all his straightway. And when he had brought them into his house, he set meat before them and rejoiced, believing Elohim with all his house. And when it was day, the magistrate sent to the surgeons, saying, Let those men go. And the keepers of the prison told this saying to Paul, The magistrates have sent to let you go. Now therefore depart and go in peace. But Paul said unto them, They have beaten us openly condemned by being Roman, and have cast us into prison. And now do they thrust us out privately? Nay, verily. But let them come themselves and fetch us out.
Boy, probably talking
bold.
Yeah.
Hey, most people gonna hightail it out of there.
Yeah, well, you tell them come and see us.
Right.
But go ahead, brother.
Verse 38. And the sergeants told these words unto the magistrates, and they feared when they heard that they were Romans. And they came and besought them and brought them out and desired them to depart out of the city.
Now, he said that Paul was telling the man, we Romans too. You know what I'm saying? That they're Roman citizens.
Right.
Like we American citizens.
Right.
That's basically what he was telling them. But go ahead.
And they went out of the prison and entered into the house of Lydia. And when they had seen the brethren, they comforted them and departed.
Because that's where we're gonna find our comfort and peace. They had to go back to Lydia's house where they, well taken care of.
Right.
You was in prison over here dealing with these heathens, these other worldly folk. Now you back among your brothers and sisters where you can find you some peace and some comfort. That's how we're supposed to be, family. Let's go now to let's look at another. Let's go to Acts. We're still in Acts. Go to Acts chapter 26. Because Paul told King Agrippa something. And Paul was doing his job. Look what Paul was telling King Agrippa. Now, this is Paul before King Agrippa, because the Israelites wanted King Agrippa to lock Paul up. That's how your folks do. Oh, yeah. You know what I'm saying? And these are the same ones that Paul used to roll with. These Pharisees.
Right.
See, they went to the judge and said, yeah, he did this, this, and this. We're not going to read it all, but we're going to get straight to the point. Paul defends before Agrippa. Go ahead. We're going to read verses 1 through, just go ahead and read it, and then we'll skip all the way down and get to the point, and then we're going to close out. Okay.
Start at 1?
Yeah, start at 1.
Then Agrippa said unto Paul, thou art permitted to speak for thyself. Then Paul stretched forth the hand and answered for himself. I think myself happy, King Agrippa, because I shall answer for myself this day before thee, touching all the things whereof I am accused of the Jews.
No, he was accused of the heathens, because them heathens are some wicked heathens.
Yes, sir.
He said accused of the Jews, your own people. But go ahead and read.
Verse 3. Especially because I know thee to be expert in all customs and questions which are among the Jews. Wherefore I beseech thee to hear me patiently. My manner of life from my youth, which was at the first among my own nation at Jerusalem, know all the Jews, which knew me from the beginning, if they would testify that after the most straightest sect of our religion, I lived a Pharisee.
He lived a Pharisee. I'm going to leave it right there, but let's go down. Let's skip all the way down. And Paul want to tell him what was his job. Start at verse. Go ahead, start at verse 16. Okay. Now, this Messiah, not Paul, now he's just explaining to King Agrippa how he ended up doing the work of the Most High. He was getting ready to tell him, when we read it just a few minutes ago, all the stuff that he did. But he telling King Agrippa now, this is what I'm on right now, King Agrippa. All that stuff I used to do, yeah, I did it all that because I was a Pharisee. That was my lifestyle. Right. Everybody knows from me, he said from the beginning, from the day I was born. But go ahead and read.
You say 16?
Yes, sir.
So verse 16. But rise and stand upon thy feet, for I have appeared unto thee for this purpose, to make thee a minister and a witness both of these things which thou hast seen, and of those things in which I will appear unto thee. Okay. Delivering thee from the people and from the Gentiles, unto whom now I send thee, to open their eyes and to turn them from the darkness to the light, and from the powers of Satan unto Elohim. He said, man, this is what I'm on. At first, I was persecuting the church. Now, Messiah came and knocked me down when I was on my way to Damascus to do some dirt. Now he got me on an assignment. Right. He brought Paul in on it. That's what they was mad about. They were mad because Paul wasn't going around persecuting the church anymore. Right. But he was on the team with the Messiah. Yep. And his job is to turn them from darkness to light and from the power of Satan unto Yah, which is in captivity or in the prison house, in your own mind. But go ahead, brother. That they may receive forgiveness of sins and inheritance among them which are sanctified by faith that is in me.
We're going to stop it right there, family. I just wanted to share this with y'all tonight. This is one of those friendly reminders. Hey, man, the Most High YAH people, he said, my people, Jacob and Israel, are hid in prison houses to this day. To this day, family. So when we go here deal with our brothers and sisters, hey, man, no wonder they can't. Can you go down to jail and just okay, man, let's come on, let's go. No, you can't do that. They ain't gonna let them go
before you let somebody out.
It's a process you have to go through to get them out. And it got to be the Most High YAH to move the people who's over these prison houses to let you free. Same thing, the power of Satan. If you don't have the power of Most High YAH to move Satan out the way and free these people from prison in their mind, spiritually speaking, it ain't gonna happen. Same thing on the physical side, same thing on the spiritual side.
Yes. Sir.
So that's why I want to bring you, family. Hope y'all. I hope we open your eyes to some things and go back and look at that video what that brother was doing and read some of the literature. I can stick it back. Let me stick it back up here so y'all can see what these articles. Y'all can read this stuff for yourself. It's not that hard to find. Let me see where is. Let me share this with you, and then we're gonna be out of here. We tired, boss.
Yes, sir.
They got your brother today. They got me all week. And I can't say it was some heathens. No, they were heathens. But not the heathens we think about. We'll talk about. This is one of the articles right here. I'm just going to put the ones that we went through up here. You guys can go back and look at it if you want to. You can share it with someone. You know, especially like someone who has a young black male, you know. And this little information, it helps. I'm telling you, it helps.
Hey, I just learned something myself, brother. So you sure right.
And then number two, there's the video. Number two, now we still got challenges. You can do all this stuff, but if we don't get them back in this book,
that's right, Hebrew.
If they don't get back in this book, because their mind is still filtered through social media, all this foolishness and stuff. That's a big challenge.
Yeah.
So how they gonna close the pipeline down when you got all of this other stuff on YouTube, TikTok, and all these other devices, all these other mediums that they use to poison children's mind? Girls in there making a daggone video, a TikTok video at school. I said, what do y'all be doing on TikTok? We just be on there dancing. With that being said, family, we will be online tomorrow at 1 p.m. class. I will be on teaching the class. We're going to be back in them Corinthians. We're still going through that. The whole goal is to go through every book. Huh?
Is it me and you?
No, Charles YAH.
Okay, y'all.
Charles YAH said he's going to come and make it thunder, the thunder bringer.
Yes,
He's going to make it thunder. And we're going to be online tomorrow. We're going through the book of, we still in 2 Corinthians. We started in that 2 Corinthians. We're going to work that. The whole intent is to go through the whole so-called New Testament and show you that most of the stuff they talk about is getting from the Old Testament, from the law and the testimony, from the prophets. That's all they had. The only thing that Messiah did was made it look tougher. Don't think that the New Testament watered down because you got to possess the Spirit. We're going to deal with that because if you don't have the Spirit of Yah on you, you don't belong to Him. It is what it is, family. So with that being said,
I want to send a shout out to yourself, Yochebed. Congratulations on the new baby. You know, peace and blessings to y'all, man. Shabbat shalom.
Oh yeah. Congratulations on them. Hey, got a new member in the house.
Yes, sir.
All praises, family. Let me see right here.
Hit them.
Let me see what we're gonna close out with. Let me see. You know what I got? Where is it? Where is it? Man, Mikael got a whole lot on him.
I never say. Oh yeah.
What's my favorite at Mikael?
There go at the top.
The King's coming.
A lot of people got the Messiah, the Master coming back as this guy who's gonna love everybody and rapture everybody off to heaven. That's not true. That's not the teaching of the Bible. The Bible says, you know, that He does judge and make work.
All praises to the Father and His Son, the creator of the universe. Yeah, the giver of the laws and commandments, crucified for the sins of the whole earth. But y'all don't pay him no mind, y'all don't pay him no homage, I ain't tripping on him, y'all don't love him. Y'all too busy worshiping other guys, Christmas, Easter, Valentine, yeah, y'all love sin. And these pastors ain't no help, they done closed up the doors to the kingdom. Matthew 23 and 13, tell me y'all some hypocrites, y'all ain't even getting in the kingdom. And that's real, I've been walking with the word, trying to get to know the word. Another word, I've been reading script. Come to find out, it's a different story when you understand the manuscript. It is. False doctrines, all lies. Is it? Like going to heaven when we die. What else? Like eating catfish and pork rinds. That's abomination in the Lord's eyes. You gotta unlearn and relearn everything that you did learn about the Most High God of these scriptures, and you better do it before he return. Cause he ain't coming back to shake hands. Nah, kissing and hugging. No, he coming back to set the record straight. Come on, he coming back to pass judgment. Yeah, cause he ain't coming back to shake hands. He ain't kissing and hugging. No, he coming back to clear the controversy. He coming back to pass judgment. 7 trumpets, 7 vows. Right after Jacob see his trouble, it's coming. He said the whole world gon' bow. Whether you hate him or you love him, it's coming. Got a war, you ain't keeping his commandments, you gon' perish when he come back with his army and the sword. Judgment has been handed down to him from the Father, and the title has been given Lord of all lords. You've been worshiping in vain though, cause you don't really know him like you claim so. At the day of judgment, he gon' tell you he don't know you either. And to the lake of fires, where you gon' go? All you heathens and you Edomites. Yeah, Babylon gon' die that night. Talk a takeover, full overthrow. The man of sin, he gon' burn slow. What you know about blood up to the horse's bridle? He gon' call all the fowls of the earth to come feast on the dead bodies, laying every word. You can read it, you been sinning, you ain't gon' be spared. I've been reading, you should get prepared. Yeah, I've been reading, baby, you should be scared. If you thinking the Messiah is a white boy with blue eyes and blonde hair, that's deception at its highest. He gon' judge you with the highest when you kick against the laws and the commandments. That's the covenant, I'm standing on it. 10 toes down, ain't no use in playing on it. You gotta unlearn and relearn everything that you did learn about the Most High God of these scriptures, and you better do it before he return. Cause he ain't coming back to shake hands. Nah, kissing and hugging.